there's a white building down there. That's the old dairy barn. Now they buy up these homesteads here in the Black Hills that were surrounded by national forests and then trade ground for ground to get the land here. Because they wanted that university to be here and they needed ground to do that. The first 90 acres he got was from a mining claim. Like where the mountain is at. It's kind of like a strip going this way. We call that the boneyard. Just a bunch of... They're trying to keep stuff running by... robbing parts from other things and whatnot. Cass said the best thing about that dairy barn is they never had to drink powdered milk again. They grew up having to be very frugal, and sometimes you can see that, you know. Mark won't buy a new pickup. There's that old blue thing around here. See all that rubble at the base. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to push it down here in this valley here to make a reflection pond. And then that university will be built right in this area. There's Adam. Turn around, we're going to park here, but this is the area that reflection pond's going to be in when they push that all down in there. At this time of the day, when that sun's starting to go down, it makes his eyes look like they're green. A lot of people don't know that he actually did have green eyes. His childhood name is Pehi-Uhaha. They say it means curly, but in reality it means funny hair. But full-blooded Native Americans always have straight black hair. That line in my family is mixed. You're never going to find a full-blooded head families. Those traders that are coming out here, they want to marry in, but they had families. And traditional natives, like my grandmother, she was a traditional native. She couldn't grasp the concept of race. They don't understand it. That's the bulldozer Kaz lost control. This road that's in front of us winds up and around and ends up in that backside of Creasworth. So he built the road in '59. This guy that owned this property back here through a mining claim, that little shack right there, Nick, he was going to sell out to Korczak at first, but then when he found out what he was doing, he jacked the price way up. And Korczak couldn't afford to buy him out. And so for 11 years, he walked up and down a staircase until he finally had the ability to buy him out. That's just how bound and determined he was to do this. You can kind of get hints when he's talking in that film, talking about being a son of Polish immigrants, but when he came out here, the meeting with those traditional-minded natives kind of had an effect on him. I suppose growing up in Boston, parents being from Poland, I don't think he was ever treated like he was an American. He got out here with us, and this is drummed into my head since I was a kid. Like this, you know, traditional-minded natives here. If you're born here, you're native. The land is where you're dead Liberia. It applies to everybody, not just us. Does that make sense? So when he was apologizing about not being American enough, they were like, "Where were you born?" He said, "Boston." "Where's your family at?" "Buried in Boston." "Are you slow? You're Native American." I guess. It's just how they see the world. My grandmother couldn't understand race because we could have kids that shock maybe different races. In their mind, there's a buffalo nation, there's the elk nation, there's a horse nation, there's the human nation. They don't grasp the concept. You know, I wish we all thought like they did sometimes, but yeah, my grandmother she just thought differently. You know, my highest ethnicity is actually English. because of those traders that are in my family tree. Those traders want to marry into the head families because they figured marrying the village idiot scholars not going to help their business very much. You know. We can get off here. Native American, there's French, there's Spanish, and there's 2% African. My father was a beach. He came to the country in 1640 from the Plymouth colony. That's 11 years after the Mayflower. They married into the Mayflower to see the sun. Portland said it must have been a big party the first 100 years. I said, oh yeah, big party. But
oh yeah,
oh yeah.
Yeah. And you cannot see it once you see it.
Yeah, no. Jaw. Nose, the head, the face is the nose, and then the recess here is the eye.
If you take, yeah.
No kidding.
I'm not seeing
Yeah, if you do
You're not
it like
seeing
this,
it?
Girl.
So, you see the dark area here, almost like the gate. That's the
That's
eye.
okay.
that's
The nose.
Yeah, now when if you see him talk about it, your land or where your dead lie buried, you can tell he gets kind of emotional, and that's why. I think in 4 years, I've only had one question that really stumped me. 16-year-old kid, his dad worked for IHS, Indian Health Service. They'd been on the Shoshone Reservation in Bishop and down in Arizona with the Dene, up here with on Cheyenne River, and he goes, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "You can ask me anything you want, son." He goes, "Why do all you guys wear blue jean jackets?" I said, "Yeah, I don't know." Just me something else. I don't know. We were sitting over at Joel Thunder's place watching this Family Guy. He likes to watch Family Guy. And they put a blue jean jacket store on the reservation. All the natives go piling in, and they go piling out. It's sold out. And we all busted up laughing. We all had blue jean jackets on too. Over at Joe's place. He's the biggest full-blood you ever met in your life. The few times he's been out the reservation, it's been with me. I had a thing about the Cleveland Indians. I said, "Joe, is this you praying around about all this?" He said, "I don't even have a computer. I know we're mad about this. Why can't they tell us first?" Well, thank you guys for coming on my tour. You guys are a good group. No fighting, no biting, no spitting.
Not yet.
Yeah, you're not on the bus. I should have stayed down.
Thanks for planting the seed.
Yeah, that's what I do. I instigate.
I know I'm
Mrs. Z asked me, because the natives call me Holchika. It's my nickname. Why they call me that? It means in the middle of it. I said, remember my dad said whenever there's horseplay, you just go outside, grab me, and start spanking? She goes, yeah. Because he knew I was in the middle of that somehow. She goes, that is a good name for you because you're always instigating the workers around here.